Hey guys, welcome to the first Get Shit Done podcast of 2025. And today I'm going to share with you 5 realistic ways that are simple that you can add exercise into your life, even when you're short on time and motivation. And there's no hardcore fitness plan required. These tips are going to help you to boost your productivity. So stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Brianne McKenzie. I'm a mom of 4 little kids, teacher of students with special needs, and a health and productivity buff. And this is the Get Shit Done podcast, where I help busy moms learn to get shit done in their lives through everyday, tangible productivity tips and tricks that'll be sure to help you get shit done. Whether you're a busy working mom inside or outside the home, I'll share my how-tos and my step-by-step strategies you need to prioritize what's important in your life and create the energy you need to follow through. Now, grab your earbuds and join me for a mom chat while you're doing the dishes, folding the laundry, or exercising with your kids. And let's get shit done together.
Well, hello there. I hope you are all finding yourselves well heading into 2025. We are back in the thick of things here, back to school. I'm here in my parking lot at school. I'm recording on my phone like I've been doing for the last little while because I feel like this is the time that works. My coffee's kicked in. My kids are gone to school. I'm at school early. Let's get this done and get into it. Today, I'm sharing with you 5 tips on how we can incorporate exercise and how that can help us to be more productive and get shit done. So for the most of us here, I feel like we can all use a little more energy and focus and drive like some motivation to our day to that kick to get going. And that is really how we can get shit done, right? So I'm going to share some ways today that we can incorporate that. And I feel like this is something we can all embrace regardless if we're on a fitness plan or we're wanting to just move our bodies a bit more. This is one of the keys to getting shit done. We have to have the energy to do anything. So let's focus on that today. I'm going to share a story. So first, I started thinking about things differently when I had my 4th baby. So I grew up in the 90s, right? So we had that diet culture, that whole fitness for punishment or workout as a form of punishment. I ate this bad thing, so I need to work out more to be able to fit in the jeans. And I need to get back to my pre-baby weight, and I need to restrict and cut and work to be able to, be in a certain number or whatever. That was the diet culture of, younger Brianne in the 90s. And obviously that's very detrimental and not helpful. And we're all learning this now as we're into, as we've grown as into adults. And that I think the culture is kind of shifting. Anyway, it's a whole other podcast. But I knew that with 4 kids, I could not keep that sustainable. And I realized that it had to be a mindset shift. So I switched my mindset around and focused my efforts around creating energy, because that was actually at the end of the day more important than losing weight. I needed to be able to have energy for my kids, patience, be able to kind of be the best version of myself. And when you have sleepless nights and all the things, energy is the thing I was after. So that's kind of how these 5 tips kind of have come about. So I'd love to share them with you. I also want to talk about why this is important. So there is science behind this. When we move our bodies, it creates energy, focus, and creativity. It's been proven that short bursts of energy can really, if you get your heart rate up for short periods of time, it can really increase your energy in that moment and your clarity and your focus and your creativity. I notice this big time. I like to hike. And if I go for a hike on the weekend, all the juices get flowing. Or if I do a short, little dance party with the kids, I then have some energy to tackle the things. So there is science behind this. This isn't just anybody saying this. This has actually been proven. Okay, so our first tip is to start small with a morning movement habit. And that might sound daunting because if you're like me, like a soft, slow start to the morning, but it has been proven that if we move our body earlier in the day, the productivity is longer lasting throughout the day. And that, that's the goal, right? So it doesn't have to be a lot though. So for me, even just getting yourself ready and getting the kids moving in the morning can be super helpful. Sometimes I get to work early, I'll walk around the block, or I might just move in the morning in the kitchen. Maybe I'll do a workout. Some seasons of life I'm working out in the morning, sometimes I'm not. But having just that intention behind moving your body a little bit more in the morning when you first kind of get up and get going, that's going to help charge that energy battery a lot earlier. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I definitely do. If I have slow mornings, I feel like, for example, Sundays, I like to have slow Sundays, but like that slow Sunday then creeps into the afternoon and then it's like a slower day. If I do a burst of something like Jess and I walk the dog, even just around the block, that sparks the rest of my day to continue on that momentum, right? I've kind of taken a micro action to build that momentum to get moving. So small micro action habit in the morning of moving is really going to help you throughout the day. Also, this proves as like a mini break for your brain, right? Like a movement break is a brain break. We do this with kids in elementary school, and having that is going to really prevent that burnout because you're not going to push all the way through things. You're just going to take a little break throughout the day with these little bursts of movement. But like if you start in the morning, it's going to help you to have that, burst of energy, but then break. That's going to help with that productivity. You're not going to feel completely drained at the end of the day. I jumped ahead a little bit there, but that was part of my tip number 2 is having these movement breaks throughout the day. That is just going to really support you to have energy long lasting when you have these little breaks throughout the day. And then if we reframe it as in like, this is for me and this is considered a treat, or like I'm giving this bit of relaxation and energy to myself. If we think of it like a hug, right? Like something we're giving to ourselves by having 5 minutes to walk the stairs up to the next floor in your house or in your office, or you're going to walk a little bit on your lunch or whatever those little breaks are throughout your day. That's really just like giving back to yourself, and it's going to help. And those brain breaks and energy boosts are going to help you to keep that battery sustained all day. Okay, so tip number 3 is to make movement a priority. Schedule it in your day. You know me, I'm all about my top 3. My movement makes my top 3 list almost every single day because I recognize the importance of if I don't prioritize movement, then I cannot have the energy to do the other things. Movement does something to us that makes that energy continue to flow. So if I create movement to my day, I'm going to create energy, which will then allow me to tackle the other 2 things on my list. But I'm going to let you in on a secret. I mean, for the most part, unless I'm sick or something, I'm getting more than 3 things done in a day. I'm just prioritizing those things that are important, but I get to more when I have more energy. So if you actually want to get more than 3 done, movement should be one of your top 3. And like, we can stop thinking of movement as like, I got to go to the gym for 2 hours. It doesn't have to be that kind of thing. But if we're prioritizing movement, then we're going to have the energy to tackle the rest of those things on our priority list. It also teaches our brain to have it as a non-negotiable as part of our routine. And we can flip that from the punishment and I have to do it and I feel obligated to do it when we have this just in a routine, right? It's just like anything else, eating or going to bed on time or helping our kids with their morning routine with brushing their teeth and whatever it is. If we make it a routine, it happens easier and we're able to think of it differently. And that helps with that mindset shift of like, it's not a punishment thing, right? Okay, number 4 is one of my favorite things. It's multitasking your movement with something you enjoy. So I love a good murder podcast. If you know me, I'm like obsessed. I listen to podcasts all the time. So I'm going to save my favorite episodes for when I have to do the things that are hard. So for right now, in the winter, it's hard to get my activity in mentally. Like I feel like I don't want to because I want to hibernate. But I saved that really good episode of that murder podcast for the workout that I'm not really feeling like doing. I have found this little niche for myself where I find these workouts that I do, where I'm just following along and I don't have to listen to the person on the computer, and I can listen to my podcast instead. And so that makes me want to do it, because that's actually like just time for me. No one's bugging me. No one's interrupting me. No one's talking to me. I'm doing the thing I enjoy. When my kids were little, I was huge on throwing the kids in the stroller, giving them a snack, putting on a podcast, and just walking. And they were occupied. I was occupied. They got the fresh air. Like, that was my jam back then. So find something that works for you, but tack it on to something you really like. Maybe you love music, or maybe you love to be social. So you're going to find a class that you really enjoy to be social with other people or friends. Find the thing you like in your life. Do you like music? Do you like listening to audiobooks? Do you like community and being social? I also love being social, so I oftentimes pair hanging out with my friends with a walk, despite their reluctance. My best friend, I dragged her out the other day. It was like -5. She's like, oh, let's go hang out and have a tea in the car. And I was like, how about you just put on mittens and a hat and we'll walk, because I need to walk. I want to see you. You want to see me, and I'm dragging you with me. So it's just those little ways of incorporating those things in your life. But do the thing you love, and then figure out how exercise can fit into that. It really does help shift the mindset and make exercise feel less like a chore and something that you enjoy doing. And I have to say though, it's always a battle, because I grew up for 25 years of my life feeling like exercise was a chore, and that's inbred in me. It's in a blueprint of the 90s kid, right? So I constantly have to be mindful that I am rejigging my exercise and my movement in a way that I enjoy, so that I can not dread it and not fall back into those 90s habits of like, I have to do this thing so that I can check it off the list, or so that I can fit in those jeans. That is no longer in this life, right? Like, we don't need to think like that. And when I find my mindset thinking like that, I know that I need variety in my workouts, and I need to find something that I am really looking forward to that's sparking joy. So, and that fits in with the lifestyle, right? You're not going to sign up for, I don't know, a pass to some workout program that you can only make once a week and pay a ton of money and feel like you're wasting it. You really just got to think about what you enjoy. So anyway, there's my little rant about that. So my last tip can actually kind of fall into the same as number 4, but it's reward yourself with something you enjoy. You know me, I'm all about that incentive, but we want to build that intrinsic motivation for ourselves, and for our kids, frankly. But we do this for ourselves, and our kids are literally watching this all along the way, right? Our kids are going to be incorporated in all of this stuff. It's going to filter to them. So these conversations we have with ourselves out loud is really going to teach our kids these skills, so they're not doing what we're doing here in our 30s, trying to reframe our brain around movement and exercise, and know that it's just part of our day, and we do it because it helps us to feel good, calm, and energetic. But having a reward at the end, we do this naturally, right? We go to work, we get money. We put the dishes in the dishwasher, we might listen to a song, whatever. These things are natural. So think of that as well when you're exercising. What is something you want to reward yourself with? Now, you may want to do you, but I've tried to avoid the food reward after exercise. But something I do love is a nice hot shower, or listening to my audiobook with a cup of tea, or just using that energy. I know it doesn't seem like a reward to clean your house, but when you have that energy and then you walk around and tidy, to me, that makes me feel calm, because then my environment is calm. So that's kind of I know I'm going to have that happen after I exercise. So to me, that's actually rewarding, because I know that I'm going to feel so much better. So it's just one of those things. Pair a reward or an incentive, with that exercise. And it can be whatever you want. Maybe it's just time with your spouse or your kids or whatever. But if you're intentional about that at the beginning, it'll come naturally after a while. Or you get to watch your favorite show on the treadmill, or after you allow yourself to have that thing after you're done. Those are intrinsic. And now I don't have to have that external reward so much. Just knowing that it's off my plate is reward enough. At first I had to incentivize it. So when this was not a habit, and this was something I was introducing for the first time, so maybe people are starting in the new year, you have to be a little more intentional about that reward at the end. So your brain understands, it connects that this thing I'm doing, this movement I'm doing, is giving me the thing I want at the end. So you may not recognize energy so much, like your brain might not recognize energy as the thing you want, but if you pair that with something even more fun, like a good podcast or show, like whatever that is, your brain's going to rewire and recognize that when I do this hard thing, I get this thing I want. So first the hard thing, then the thing I want, and I am going to retrain my brain here. That is kind of what we're doing. We're changing those neurons to like fire when we want it and not dread the workout. So we'll make those connections. Our brains are like amazing, and we can actually do that very fast. So if you're intentional about understanding it in that way, it really does help change the mindset too. So reward yourself at the end in a way that feels good, that helps you to look forward to getting that done. Okay, I don't have a tip 6 on here, but it's something that I forgot to mention throughout all of it. But I really do feel like we are doing this not only for the energy, but for a way to teach and train our kids for the future, right? If you think about, our mentality now and our diet culture and all things, where do we learn that? TV, magazines, family. And not that to say that's bad, because they did not know. We're learning more, right? But we know better, so we can do better for our kids. And when you're doing this, if you incorporate your kids, that's like next level, because they're seeing that you're prioritizing this, and then they know that this is just a given, right? It's like any routine. If we prioritize it and show them that like there's no alternative, this is it, then it's a given for them as they grow up, and they know to expect it. So they're going to know that it's important to feel healthy and calm and energetic. So we go on a forced family walk, or we go and we put on a dance party after supper while we clean up, because we have to clean up. It sucks, but we get to move at the same time and listen to the good music. We get outside for fresh air after school because we need to, turn our brain around. These are the habits we want to teach and train our kids, because we know it's what's best for them. So when we are doing these things, as hard as it is for us to retrain our brain and relearn these healthy habits, it's going to be so much easier for them. So I just wanted to touch on that, because I actually think deep down that is what is the most important. Yes, we're going to grab the energy. We're going to have the benefits of the productivity, and it's going to be amazing for us. But just think how much easier it's going to be for our kids. They're not going to have these mental flip-flops, this mind ninja that we go through all the time, talking ourselves in and out of all the, bad and good and healthy habits, right? So that's what I rely on at the end of all of this. Last thing to touch on, how we're going to make this stick. Flexibly consistent is the key. That's a whole other podcast I've done many times over the years. So just go Google that. But understanding that it doesn't have to be the same every day, all the time. It can be an up and down journey. It's going to be an up and down journey. When something gets thrown off, you just pick up, pivot, and press on. We don't quit and start all over again. We can just pick up where we were. It's much better than starting and stopping, because you don't make progress that way. If you start, you go good, you're on an upward trajectory, and then you get sick, you stop. Instead of starting back at point 1, you're now up to point number 5. And then when you're ready to pick up, you just start at 5 again and keep going all the way up to 10. These are the things that kind of just help us to make this a habitual lifestyle. When you're feeling good, you do the things. You just look at your day each day. When can I fit this in? It doesn't have to be the same amount. I don't have to do an hour today because I did an hour yesterday. I did an hour yesterday. I'm going to do 10 minutes today. I'm going to do 10 minutes tomorrow. Over time, that builds up. Flexible consistency is where it's at for busy moms, because that is going to help our mindset and help us to be successful, make progress long term. Okay, so here's the end of this podcast. And really, this is such a huge thing for us going forward, because it's really the foundation of getting shit done. And if you want to know more about how to actually implement these things, I have a whole lot of information in the Moms Get Shit Done Club that you can join by subscribing to the link in the bio here. You can join me for $5 a month and you get extra trainings, extra support, but I have all of this material recorded for you to learn how to do, and then I walk you through it. So if you want that next level to kind of like hear all of this, but then how do I actually tangibly start, that's where you're going to find the support, is the Moms Get Shit Done Club. I hope that you enjoyed this. Obviously, you can tell I'm passionate about this specific topic because I just ranted for 20 minutes. Anyway, happy 2025, and I hope that this was helpful for you.
Well, that's it for me today. I'm likely needed for some mom duties right about now. Thanks so much for joining me for a chat, and let's do it again soon. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at Brianne_McKenzie123 for more tips and tricks on how to get shit done.